In this video, we will find the least common denominator. Let's say we have these two examples over here, 3 over 5 plus 4 over 7. If we need to find a common denominator, we simply multiply 5 and 7. So we get 35 as the denominator. And when some variables are involved, such as x or y, then we simply multiply these two numbers, 3 and x, so we get 3x. But how about an exponent with some power more than 1, such as this one? So for this one, we first multiply 5 with the number in front, which is 1. So that gives us 5. And for this, for a variable with exponent, we write only 1 with the highest power, such as x squared. Often we multiply like this, 5x times x squared, and the answer we get is 5x cubed. But in this case, when we are looking for a common denominator, we simply take the one which has the highest power. Okay, so for this one, as you can see, what is the common factor just for 18 and 27? Forget the variables for a second. Well, for 18 and 27, the next number for 18 is 36. That is not 27. And for the next number of 27 times 2, that is 54. After 36, we get what? 54. So this is a common number. Okay, so we get 54. And now for the variables, we write simply the one with the highest power. You don't have to worry about or calculate anything. So we have x cubed or x squared. The power will be x cubed is bigger, and for y it will be cube as well. Okay, let's take a look at some different examples. Let's say we have 3 over x minus 2y over x plus 5. Again, when we need to multiply these two, we simply write x times x plus 5. We don't actually need to factor further. This is it for the answer. Okay, and you will understand later on when we simplify more complex problems. Okay, so let's say we have 3 over 2x squared minus 4x plus x squared over x squared minus 4x plus 4. So for this one, before we multiply, we can take factor over here, this term and the second term. And the answer for the first term will be, we can take 2x as common. Inside will be x minus 2. And we have plus x squared over, for this one, we simply get, remember, x minus 2, these are perfect square. So we simply get x minus 2 whole square. So what do you think the answer for this one is? Well, we already have one x minus 2. Remember, in the exponents we learned we write with the highest power, which is 2. Okay, so this 2x comes over here, and then x minus 2 whole square, and this is the answer for this problem. Okay, let's solve a different problem. We have 5x over x squared minus x minus 12. Then we have minus 6x squared over x squared minus 7x plus 12. Okay, so for this one, again we will factor this one first and the other denominator. So for this one, we need two numbers that we multiply and we get negative 12, but the sum should be negative 1. And the number you can think of like 4 times 3 is 12, and negative 4 plus 3 is negative 1. So the answer for this one will be x minus 4 times x plus 3. For this one, we have the same situation, but the number should be positive when we multiply. So over here, it will be 4 times negative, both should be negative, and then we get positive 12, and then we subtract negative 4, negative 3, then we get negative 7. So for this denominator, factoring will be x minus 4 times x minus 3. Okay, so what is common already? Well, you can see x minus 4 is in both the places. The ones are not present. We will multiply over here. So the answer will be x minus 4 times x plus 3 times x minus 3. Remember, just like we factored before, let's say we have 3 over 2 plus let's say 7 over 6. Forget about the numerator for a second. What should be the common number over here? The factor? Well, it's 6, right? Because 2 times 3 is 6 and 6 times 1 is 6. Same way, this x minus 4 is present in both the denominators. The ones they are not, we multiply. Like the example we learned before, let's say 1 over 7 plus 1 over 5. There should be a common factor, a common number where these two numbers meet each other. After 7, we have 14. Then we have 21. Then we have 28. Then we have 35. 5 doesn't meet anywhere of these except at 35. So this is something common for both of them. That is why we multiply these two numbers together. Okay, so remember that in mind. Now let's take a look at another example. We have this time 3x over x squared minus 14x plus 48 plus x plus 9. Now the common denominator will be, of course, whatever the factor will be for this alone, because when we have, let's say, 1 plus 3 plus 2 plus 3, doesn't matter where have 1 or what, the common number will be this one, common denominator. So for this we will factor, and now we need two numbers that we get 48 when we multiply, and the sum should be negative 14. Well, you can think of 12 times 4, that is 48, but the subtraction or addition we don't get 14. So let's say 24 times 2. No, how about 16 times 3? That also doesn't give us 14. So the only two numbers are actually 8 and 6, and both needs to be negative. Then we get positive 48, because negative sign times negative we get positive, and then the sum will be negative of negative 6 will be negative 14. So the answer for this one will be x minus 8 times x minus 6. Okay, and that is our common denominator for this one. Okay, so don't worry about all of this. With enough practice you will be able to understand more. Let's take a few of the easy problems and you decide what is the common factor. Let's say we have x over 3 plus x minus 1 over 3. What do you think is the common denominator? Well, you can clearly see they're both same, so the answer is simply 3. Okay, how about let's take a different denominator and you will solve it this time. We have 1 over 2x plus 1 over 3. So again, remember, just forget x for a minute. What do you think a common denominator for this one is? 1 over 2 plus 1 over 3. Well, we multiply them, right? So we get what? 6, and we have a variable. So we simply write 6x, and simple, that is our answer. So no need to be confused. Similarly, we have 3 over 5x plus 7 over 2. So what is a common denominator if you forget x? Well, we simply multiply 5 times 2, we get 10, and the variable x. Okay, with these problems, never worry about what is the numerator, because the problem is asking only for a least common denominator for LCD. Okay, let's take a look at some of a complex problems when we have variables on both the sides. Let's say we have x over 3x squared plus 9 over 15x to the power 4. And remember, for variables we write the one which has the highest power. So forget about the numerator and try to pause the video and try to solve it by yourself. Okay, first multiply the numbers, and for variables write the variable with the highest power. Okay, and play the video to see the answer. Okay, so I hope you tried yourself. Well, first we simply multiply 3 and 15, so we get what? 45. And for variables x, which power should go? 2 or 4? I told you that the biggest power goes over there, 4. And why is that? Just like the previous example, remember, we have 2 and we have 6. So the answer is what? 1 over 6, right? Of course, this is something different in the numerator, but focus over here at the denominator. We simply write which has the biggest power, 6, because 2 times 3 is 6, but 6 multiplies something doesn't come at 2. We have to multiply with half or something else. Okay, that is why we take the highest degree, highest exponent power. Okay, how about this one? We have negative 4 over 18x square y square plus 7 over 5x to the power 4 y to the power 5. And again, forget about this negative sign or this numerator, forget everything. Just multiply first 18 times 5, wherever 18 and 5 meet each other, and that will be our answer. Okay, so what do you think? Where do these two numbers meet? Okay, so if we multiply, let's say 18 times 5, we get what? 40. 5 times 5 plus 4, that's 90, correct? That is the only place that these two numbers will meet as a factor. So we have 90 over here. And for the variable x, what is the biggest power? We have 4. And for y, we have 5. Okay, and this is how we find the least common denominator. And before we go, we will find let's say one more problem. And the problem is we have x plus 2 over x square plus 11x plus 18, okay, minus x square minus 4 over x square minus 3x minus 10. Wow, there are a lot of numbers over here. So just factor these two first, and then we will find a common number. Okay, so for the first one, over here we need two numbers that we get product 18 when we multiply, and the sum should be 11 because there is a positive sign. That's why I said sum and not subtraction. So 9 times 2 is 18, 6 times 3 is also 18, but 9 plus 2 is only 11 and not 6 plus 3. So the answer for this one will be x plus 9 and x plus 2, because these two numbers when we multiply we get 18 and plus is 11. So for the second term we need two numbers that when we multiply we get 10, but the subtraction should be negative 3. You can think of negative 5 times 2, that gives us negative 10, and negative 5 plus 2, that gives us negative 3. So the answer for this one is negative 5 and plus 2, that is x minus 5, x plus 2. And now you can see what is common already. Well, x plus 2 is common. What is not common, that will be multiplied, such as x plus 9 and x minus 5. And that is our answer for this one. In the next video we will go over through the simplifications of the rational number. First we will find a common denominator, and then we will solve the numerator as well, and we won't leave it. But to understand that concept, it is necessary to grasp this concept first. So okay, so make sure to practice enough, and I will see you tomorrow. Goodbye.